Last night's late show with Stephen Colbert turned into an unexpected battleground when Sandra Oh walked off set after Colbert crossed multiple professional boundaries. The Grey's Anatomy star didn't just leave. She delivered a masterclass in dignity that left Colbert scrambling to explain himself. But what triggered this confrontation would reveal something about Asian representation in Hollywood that Colbert wasn't prepared to face. The CBS studios carried unusual tension before taping. Sandra Oh arrived to discuss her new production company focused on Asian storytelling. But Colbert's writers had prepared questions about China, Korea, and Asian politics that had nothing to do with her work. A producer warned Oh's team that Colbert seemed weirdly focused on the Asian angle. Therefore, when the cameras rolled, Oh was already on guard for something inappropriate. The show began typically. Colbert delivered his monologue with the usual political jokes. Oh waited backstage, reviewing notes about her upcoming projects. "Please welcome the brilliant Sandra Oh," Colbert announced. She walked out gracefully, waving to the enthusiastic audience before taking her seat. "Sandra, wonderful to have you here," Colbert said warmly. "You've been breaking barriers for Asian actors for decades." "Well, I've been working for decades. The barrier breaking wasn't by choice," Oh replied carefully. "Right, but you're Korean-Canadian. You must have thoughts on what's happening between America and China," Colbert said abruptly. Oh paused, visibly confused. "I'm sorry, what does my Korean heritage have to do with China?" she asked. "Well, it's all connected over there, isn't it?" Colbert said casually. Therefore, the ignorance was immediate and stunning. The audience went quiet. Oh's expression shifted from confusion to controlled anger. "Over there? Stephen, Korea and China are different countries, with different languages, cultures, and histories," she said slowly, as if explaining to a child. "Of course, but from an Asian perspective," Colbert started. "Stop," Oh interrupted. "There's no singular Asian perspective. That's like asking you for the European perspective because you're white. That's different," Colbert protested. "How?" Oh demanded. "Explain how it's different." Colbert struggled. "Well, Europe has more diversity," he began. "Asia has 48 countries, Stephen, each with distinct cultures. The fact that you don't know this is exactly the problem," Oh said firmly. But Colbert, instead of apologizing, doubled down. "I'm just trying to understand your unique viewpoint on Eastern politics," he said. "My unique viewpoint? I was born in Ottawa. I'm Canadian. My viewpoint on Asian politics is probably less informed than yours should be as a news host," Oh replied. The audience was completely silent. Some looked uncomfortable. Others nodded in agreement with Oh. But Colbert made things worse. "But surely your family has opinions about communism in China," he pressed. Oh stood up slowly. "My family fled Korea during the war. We have opinions about survival, about building new lives, about contributing to our adopted countries. Not about your Cold War fantasies," she said. "I didn't mean to offend," Colbert said quickly. "Then why did you prepare these questions?" Oh asked, pointing to his cards. "I can see them from here. China, North Korea, Asian markets. I came to discuss my production company, not to be your Asian politics expert." Therefore, his preparation had been exposed. But Oh wasn't finished. "You know what's exhausting? Every Asian actor deals with this. We can't just be artists. We have to represent an entire continent we might have never visited," she said. "That's not what I was doing," Colbert protested weakly. "Isn't it? When Chris Evans was here, did you ask him about Brexit because he's white? When Michael B. Jordan visited, did you demand his thoughts on African politics?" Oh asked. The questions hung heavy. Colbert couldn't answer. But Oh had more to say. "This is why I started my production company. Because people like you still see us as foreign correspondents instead of artists," she said. "I see you as an artist," Colbert claimed. "Then ask me about my art," Oh challenged. "Ask me about directing, about producing, about the stories I want to tell." "Okay, tell me about your stories," Colbert said, trying to recover. "Too late," Oh replied. "You've shown what you really wanted. You wanted me to perform my ethnicity for your entertainment." She turned to the audience. "I apologize to all of you. You came for an interview. Instead, you got to witness casual racism dressed up as curiosity," she told them. "That's unfair," Colbert protested. "I'm not racist." "You're right. You're not actively racist. You're passively ignorant, which might be worse because you think you're progressive," Oh said. The destruction was surgical. But then she delivered the killing blow. You know what? I've been polite for too long. We all have. Asian actors smile through these interviews, answer your ignorant questions, pretend it's okay. I'm done with that, she declared. Sandra, please sit down. We can start over, Colbert pleaded. No, we can't. Because you don't even understand what you did wrong. Oh replied. She pulled out her phone. Want to know what your researcher sent my team? Questions about my thoughts on anime. Anime. I'm a 53-year-old Korean-Canadian woman, and you wanted to ask about Japanese animation, she said. The audience gasped. Several people booed Colbert. The ignorance was staggering. But Oh raised her hand for quiet. This isn't just about him. It's about an industry that still sees Asian faces as interchangeable, she said to the camera. I'm walking off this show. Not in anger, but in exhaustion. I'm tired of educating people who should know better, she continued. Please don't go, Colbert said desperately. Give me one reason to stay. Oh challenged. We need voices like yours, Colbert said. No, you need to listen to voices like mine. There's a difference, Oh replied. She walked off to thunderous applause. The audience gave her a standing ovation while Colbert sat alone, realizing the magnitude of his failure. We'll be right back, he mumbled, but his credibility was shattered. Within minutes, #Sandra Oh educates was trending worldwide. Asian actors and creators flooded social media with their own similar experiences. The support for Oh was overwhelming. But the real impact came from Hollywood. Major Asian stars announced they would no longer do interviews that focused on their ethnicity over their work. It became known as the Oh Protocol. Colbert attempted an apology the next night. I was ignorant and I'm learning, he said. But the damage was done. His show lost significant viewership, particularly among younger, more diverse audiences. Meanwhile, Oh's production company received massive investment offers. Her dignified stand had resonated across industries. She'd shown that calling out ignorance didn't require anger, just exhausted honesty. The incident became a watershed moment for Asian representation in media. Universities added it to media studies curricula as an example of institutional ignorance versus individual dignity. Colbert never fully recovered his progressive credibility. The man who thought he was an ally had exposed himself as part of the problem. His assumption that one Asian person could speak for billions had revealed deep-seated prejudices. But Sandra Oh emerged stronger. She'd refused to perform her ethnicity, refused to be the spokesperson for a continent, refused to smile through ignorance. Her walk-off wasn't just personal. It was political. Years later, she reflected, I didn't plan to walk off. But in that moment, I realized that staying would mean accepting that treatment. And I was done accepting it. The empty chair she left became iconic. A symbol of the moment when politeness ended and honest exhaustion spoke. When an artist refused to be reduced to her race. When Sandra Oh didn't just walk off a show, but walked away from decades of accumulated microaggressions, taking her dignity and power with her.